This time I'm going to talk about suffering. Suffering comes with an idea of how things should be. So you have an idea of how life should be. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this, right? It should be like whatever, right? And that causes like some resistance to life itself, where we don't just allow life to be as it is, where we try to control life, where we even think we have control over life in the first place. And then we're running around with a thought of like, this is how life should be. We have like a thought, an idea of like, this is how life should be. And because I don't have that, because my life is not that of the thought or image that I have of what I think it should be, I suffer. When reality is, we're just sitting here, having a thought of something in the future. Usually, it can also come with the idea of thought, like with, or the belief that you can't be okay right now unless you have this, you experience that, whatever, right? And that causes like some resistance to where you are right now, some resistance to life itself. It's not even in your control anyway. Like, you know it. Okay, so the camera cut off. So yeah, so you have an idea of what you think life should be, but it's just a thought, it's just an image, an idea. No, the idea that you can't be okay right now because you do not have that image, that's something to question, right? Can you be okay with, can you feel good where you are right now? Or is it really necessary to actually have the image fulfilled or the thought of what you think life should be in order to feel good? Because if you go the wrong way about it, we never gonna feel good, or like life is always gonna be in a way where we obviously cannot control it. Now, are we gonna say like, oh, okay, so I always gonna be unhappy, or you're always gonna be unhappy until you reach that point where you think like you can be okay again? I think the one thing that comes with suffering, besides becoming aware that we actually do just have thoughts to what we think life should be, is that we surrender. And surrendering is like this word that kind of is thrown around, which probably most people don't really know what it really means, but it's giving up. I mean, some people would say like letting go, but it's like giving up control. Or even becoming aware that, we have no control. Like, if we would be able to control life as easily as we think, like, then we could, then everything would be like whatever, right? But I think many people that suffer also know that working harder at something, doing more, is not actually leading to anything else. It's not actually yielding anything, or it's not even getting you to the promised land, basically, right? Because we always like to go for that, where we think like once we have that, we're okay. So it's that kind of resistance that causes displeasement, that causes us to suffer. And makes also feeling good very conditional on a certain idea, on a certain thought to, okay, so feeling good is now conditional. Instead of like being the base where we say like, you know what, feeling good is just the norm, is the standard, and anything else is the cherry on top. But we do not have to chase to feel good. But yeah, like suffering is a good way to like surrender. It forces surrender. Because we've been trying to force our own will, our own thoughts to what we think, how things should be, and forcing things in a way in our reality, physically trying to change things, when suffering often shows us like that's not the path. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, then the only thing left really is to give up, give up. Give up. That's all I can say. Like, we live in a culture that promotes grinding and whatever. Like, you can just like control everything when it's not even reality. It's not reality. So if we are in a good state, then like, yes, things come easily to us. We can easily have opportunities come our way and can say yes to many things. But in a place of suffering, trying to physically work yourself out of something or going towards something, whatever the thing is that causes suffer, is not going to work. Only the realization that we have a thought or an expectations to how life should be. And as long as we're holding on to that, we're causing some kind of suffering within us. And we say, you know what, life should be this way, life should be that way. Who says how life should be? You're like watching maybe too much social media, the highlights of other people, that tell us like, okay, so we see that, and then what? Like, we think our life should be also like that? But that's not how life works. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own lessons. Everyone has to go through different things. Everyone is having different kind of like childhood stuff to process. Everyone has like different things to deal with or like waking up to. Different kind of illusions too, right? Illusions to what they seek outside of themselves, where they already could be feeling okay. So interestingly enough, also like, while thinking of a dream is essentially the same as like well, you don't have to chase something, but you can think of something in the future that you like, and you can maybe feel good about it, which shows that you do not have to chase things in order to feel good. Or it can be the proof that you don't need to change the situation in order to feel good. I think the more you realize that, like, you can flip that and see that maybe chasing after something in order to feel good or avoid feeling the discomfort or the unpleasantness of whatever you're feeling right now is not being found in that future, or cannot be resolved by like just chasing the next thing. Yeah, like you bring a person from let's say like pretty bad mental state, emotional state, to a different environment, and that person is still gonna be that way. Like sure, like a different environment can cause a person maybe to like relax more, and but more often than not, also people are just not seeing anything wrong with what they're doing until they like notice, like, you know what, that was not the path. So like they're still going to keep the mental and emotional state. That's not the way. Also seems like, yeah, conditional happiness doesn't seem right. I don't know. So someone must sell you a product, and then you can be okay. Or what? Like, what is it? Like woman? So like, no, you gotta like act also like a certain way, maybe. So because then you can look, if it's in regard of women or a man or whatever, then you can start. Then you're having the next people telling you the course on how to be, so you can be something that gets you woman or gets you the man, right? Be that way. You just gotta be this way, be that way, and like some things might be like, can be sometimes good advice in regards of awareness. It's more often than not is though something where it's like pointing to you not being really you, but making yourself different, faking who you are, so you can be like attractive, or based on a thought like that someone else said that they think is what women find attractive, and that's what you as a man or you as a woman go by, because the woman thinks that, or in her thinking thought, that was the way of how you need to be in order to be getting the man. It's all nonsense, because there's no authenticity in there, right? And like yeah, and then like it's selling a false image too, right? Selling a false image, and then those false images never stand up to time, right? Like you spend a month with someone, and you know, like, or like maybe it can take 3 months, but eventually the image that someone carries is not a reflection of who someone really is or what emotional state someone is. I'm kind of drifting a little bit away from the topic, I guess. But yeah, it goes by the idea like whatever causes suffering, there are people quick to sell someone something where they say like, you know what, this is the solution, when the solution is in you, in your own awareness, to who you are, in your own awareness to how you feel. Like no one can, or like what you think or feel is the right thing to do or not right thing to do, right? No one can really like point to that. They can give you some awareness, right? They can give you some awareness that might help, but yeah. I want to actually ask, like, what do you want this for? What do you want this for? Why do you need? Why do you think you need what you think you need? What do you think you get from that? Is it for attention? Is it for validation? What is it for? What drives someone? Is it lust? I think for man it's mostly lust. Women generally seem to really need attention. But that's the issue, right? Like, most people don't even know, like, what drives them. What is it? So, if it's attention, like, what's the meaning? So, unless I get the attention, I cannot feel good. Is that it? That seems also very conditional in a world where, like, you may not always get the attention. We always make it, like, dependent on, like, something outside ourselves, which is so the opposite way of how it should be. So why cause us suffering that's completely unnecessary because we think like we need it outside ourselves? But I think like we need to first understand like what drives us to that. Why do we want something? It's also not wrong going for something. Like if you feel like you want to do something, then do it. But if suffering is attached because you don't have something, then maybe there is a good question to ask to why you think you need it in the first place. So you can feel good, really. Or what else is it? What else drives someone? What drives you, right? So I think it's possible for you to be okay, feel good, regardless of having the image fulfilled that you think of what life should be. And if that's true, then maybe life would be better if we actually felt good first before we actually did anything. And maybe that's even a way of like going with life, collaborating with life, instead of like forcing our own ideas of will onto life, forcing, pushing, struggling, going against life, resisting life, trying to go uphill or against windmills or up the river. And just being okay with it, you know, just finding some acceptance to, you know what, maybe forcing and controlling life doesn't work, because if it did work, maybe it would have changed already. If controlling life would work, then why do we suffer? Why do you suffer? Maybe what life is showing us, the suffering you feel is like meant to be there, right? Maybe there's a lesson behind it. Maybe there's value behind it. And there can be different kind of reasons why we suffer, right? So I just kept it very general, but everyone has their own reasons to why they suffer. But it always comes down to the idea of thought of something should not be the way it should be. And trying to control life, right? Controlling life. So if we can give up control, if we can just give up and playing with the thought that maybe life doesn't need to be different from what it is, then maybe things can also resolve. Maybe things can get better, you know? But yeah, some thoughts to suffering, and I see you in the next video.